Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Obviously, as I'm sure most of you, if not every single one of you know, yesterday was the grand finals of the first ever LCS lock-in tournament. Obviously, as you can see up on the screen, January 15th to January 31st. That was yesterday. We got to see an absolute banger of a series that took us all the way to Silver Scrapes, all the way to Game 5. Team Liquid, Cloud9, two hyped up, insanely large fan bases, two very, very hyped up rosters who made awesome changes in this offseason. I mean, this lock-in tournament really gave us everything we wanted. It was so much fun. It was so exciting, and we got to see a ton of awesome banger series, games, players, new teams, new rosters, new coaching stats, all of that great stuff. The season 11, new items, new changes, all that stuff to kick off the LCS season. Now, obviously, we're heading into the official start of the LCS season next week, but before we get into that, I wanted to do my top 10 takeaways from this entire tournament because we saw so many games, we saw so many different things. I just wanted to kind of break it all down and digest it one last time before we kind of close the history books on this tournament. So again, in this video, it's going to be my top 10 takeaways, and hopefully I can get my, thoughts, opinions, feedback from all of you guys as well on what you're taking away from this tournament. But before we get into that, I just want to mention real quick, if you're not already subscribed, definitely click that subscribe button really quick. It's fast, it's free, it's easy. Helps you guys stay up to date on all my latest content, and I would appreciate it so much. We're getting closer and closer to 6,300 subscribers. That would be awesome. That would be dope. 7K, it's out there somewhere as well. We're going to get there one day. That would be awesome. So if you could help me out by doing your part, that'd be great. Also, drop a like on this video if you enjoy my content, if you want to help support my channel, if you like this video, or if you just enjoy the content we've been putting out recently. Obviously, we've been making a ton of awesome videos. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying them. With that being said, let's get right into the list. It might be a little bit of a longer video. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. This is scuffed. I just drew this up in Photoshop. Number one, we got TL is good. This was obviously had to be one of my takeaways from the tournament. TL, they look very good. Obviously, they dropped, I think, 3 games total. I think they lost 1 game to 100 Thieves when they had Armeo in the jungle, and then 2 games to Cloud9 in the finals. I think overall, they looked very good. CoreJJ, I think, is looking like the best player in the entire LCS right now. Perkz was my preseason pick for MVP, but I'm definitely going to be swapping that back over to CoreJJ. I think he looks like the best player in the league, best support. He's just so good. He makes tactical look really good. He makes the whole team look good. He hasn't played amazingly in every single game, but he's at least been pretty damn good in every single game. Alfari looking like an insane pickup for the team. He's been great. Santorin was really solid as well. Jensen looking like one of the best mid laners in the league again, and then Tactical also being really solid. I think this team is going to be scary. I think they're going to be tough to beat. They were my pick to win the locking tournament. They did that. They're now going to be my pick to win the whole LCS, and I think they're going to have a chance to do that as well. I think this team is really well rounded, really well balanced. They don't have a clear weak point on the team, which is a great sign. Hopefully they can continue to play this fast-paced style that they've been showing in this tournament. They can ramp up, and if they can keep this up for like MSI for Worlds and stuff, I think this team's going to be in really good shape. I'm hyped up and excited for them. I think they're going to be a great North American team this year. At number 2, C9 is also pretty good. Again, if TL is good and C9 took this team to Game 5, C9 must be pretty damn good as well. Obviously, they had some big pickups in the offseason. They got Perkz. They got Fudge up in the top lane. They replaced Nisqy. They replaced Licorice. And a lot of people weren't really sure how this was going to work out. I thought that Perkz was going to come and smurf all over the North American mid laners. That hasn't really happened. But the fact that Cloud9 was still able to make it to the finals, still able to take Team Liquid to Game 5, despite Fudge, not really looking that good, and Perkz not being insanely dominant, that's a great sign. Sven is playing out of his mind. Perkz was kind of my MVP pick for Cloud9 so far, but Sven, I think, has been the best player on Cloud9 to start the season. Also, Blabber, he's looking like spring split Blabber more than summer split Blabber. That's great. Vulcan looking like the second best support in the LCS. And Fudge is showing some signs of life here and there. He had a good Malphite game. He had a good Aurelia game. In the end, he was probably one of the main reasons that Cloud9 was not able to beat Team Liquid, but youngest player in the LCS, he's got time to develop. I think he'll be okay in the end, but he came into the league talking a lot of trash, and he has not been backing it up so far. So we'll see how good his mental is, I guess, as the season progresses. Got to be rough for him, but again, just preseason tournament, none of this really matters. But again, despite all that, Cloud9 still look pretty damn good. I think they're going to be all right. I think they're clearly the second best team in the LCS. That's kind of what a lot of us expected going in beforehand. Number 3, my third takeaway. Fudge is not good yet, question mark. So Fudge is not doing real good right now. Obviously, it's not a hot take. Everyone's saying it. The broadcast, Twitter, he's getting a lot of hate and stuff right now. And again, you can have opinions about the game. You can break down the stuff. Objectively, you just watch his games. Fudge is not playing very good. That's okay. But you don't need to go to Twitter. You don't need to go to his Instagram. You don't need to go to his DMs and be, sending him hate and all that stuff. He knows he's not playing well. He said he's not playing well. And it can be funny to banter. You should be allowed to kind of talk a little bit of crap to people. Obviously, he was talking a lot of crap beforehand, so he must think it's okay, telling people they're brain dead and all that stuff, and NA sucks, and he's going to stomp all over North American tops. But, keep it playful, keep it banter, keep it fun, chill out a little bit. But I say the yet because, obviously, again, he's a young player. He has time to develop and progress, but will he? I don't know. That's going to be a big thing for Cloud9 the rest of the season. If Fudge is able to develop and become one of the best top laners in North America, even a top 5 top laner, which he did not look like in this tournament at all, Cloud9 could be very, very solid. They don't need Fudge to even be good. They just need him to be solid because the rest of this Cloud9 team looks so good. If they can just get a consistent top laner who can hold his own, this team could be very, very scary. So Fudge is not good yet. He could become good, but there's a chance he doesn't as well. Not every player automatically progresses. I was really, really curious to see. I didn't know much about Fudge coming into this, and I wanted to see him play. And now that I've seen him play, not that good yet. But we'll see how that goes. Number 4. TSM is bad. This is a team that I had rated 3rd coming into the tournament. I thought they would, coming into this, I thought I would have them projected as North America's final Worlds representative. But after watching this tournament, they are no longer my pick for 3rd. They are no longer my pick for 4th. I probably am going to be moving them down to 5th. But honestly, I think a series between them and FlyQuest would be pretty interesting. I think both of those teams look pretty terrible throughout this tournament. I definitely think Evil Geniuses has since passed up TSM. I think 100 Thieves has passed up TSM. I obviously think Cloud9 and Team Liquid are ahead of them. TSM did look really, really bad. Lost, honestly, looks like maybe one of the worst players in the entire LCS right now. Huni has looked like one of the worst top laners. I think Spica has been solid. I think Sword Art has been solid. I think Power of Evil has been okay, but none of them have really been standout awesome, partly because TSM as a whole has been pretty bad and uncoordinated, so it's hard for anyone to stand out too much or look too good. But yeah, TSM is definitely a team. If Team Liquid and Cloud9 are looking good, TSM's looking bad, and they're kind of moving down my power rankings headed into the season for sure, which I'll definitely be putting out some updated power rankings, tier lists, all that stuff in the next coming days, so be looking out for that. But for right now, just, spoiler, TSM is not looking good. Number 5, we have Jiizuke is back. This is a guy who I was pretty low on during the preseason, and he's looking pretty good. Evil Geniuses is really playing, it seems like, how he wants to play, and he's really popping off with the results. He's looking more aggressive, he's looking more lively, he's looking better than he did last season, where he was really, really inconsistent, really coin flippy. He had some big games, but he had some bad games as well. But also, Evil Geniuses was putting him on some weird picks. He was playing a lot of Karma mid and random supportive picks and stuff like that, and that is not his play style. Evil Geniuses, in their series against Team Liquid, they picked him Echo. That didn't work out super well, but I think just having kind of the balls to play those more aggressive picks and to let him play this crazy aggressive style that Jiizuke wants to play will pay off well over the course of the season. I really think this is much more looking like the old Jiizuke that we know from like Vitality days or even early Evil Geniuses days, where he can be an absolutely massive carry, and he's starting to look like one of the better mid laners in the LCS once again, and that's absolutely what Evil Geniuses needs if they want to make it to Worlds, because they're definitely in that contention. They're going to be fighting for that last World spot, and again, if they want that, Jiizuke is going to need to be good, and so far he had a pretty damn good lock-in tournament, all things considered. Number 6, FlyQuest was overrated. This is a team that, they have a ton of awesome, new, young, shiny parts. People were getting really, really hyped up about them. Diamond, Palafox, Jose Diodo, Johnson, Licorice. All these players have a ton of talent, a ton of promise. But so far, we didn't really get to see it in the lock-in tournament. Yes, they started out not having Jose Diodo, and they looked absolutely terrible. Diamond looked like one of the worst players in the LCS, in my opinion. Palafox didn't look great. Licorice looked like one of the worst top laners. It sounds like I'm saying a lot of stuff from TSM, but, I mean, this is really how it was going. NXI just didn't look very good. He looked like a sub-jungler. Jose Diodo came in. They started to look a little bit better. They knocked off Evil Geniuses, but then they got swept by Team Liquid to get knocked out. So I don't think FlyQuest is, like, bad or anything. They're just maybe not as good as people expected, or maybe they're just not going to be as good right away. Obviously, a young team is going to need time for all their players to get experience. Not only do their players need to mesh and get synergy and stuff, they just need to become LCS caliber players. You know, a lot of these guys are just super inexperienced. I think this team will definitely get better and improve as, of course, the season goes on. Some of these players, we do have this many rookies. It's hard for all of these rookies to work out. You know, that's just the nature of the beast. When players do well in academy, they move up to the LCS, then some of them do well and work out, some of them don't. You know, if you have a whole team of young and experienced players, they're not all going to work out. So we'll have to see how that goes. I'm definitely going to be keeping a close eye on FlyQuest over the whole season, but people had them ranked like as high as second, I saw in some of the lock-in preseason power ranking stuff, and we're, you know, slow down at that a little bit. Right now I'd have them like sixth, maybe even seventh. I wouldn't really argue too much. You could put them as high as fifth. Again, maybe they could beat TSM, but I would still put TSM above them right now. But they're perhaps just a little tiny bit overrated. At number 7, Evil Geniuses was overrated. And I don't mean coming into the tournament, because coming into the tournament, I had them like 6th. Obviously, they finished top 4. I mean, after week 1, when they were, would they go 3-0 the first week? They were atop their group. They beat Cloud9. Impact was looking like a beast. You know, he's coming off a bunch of Renekton games where he was absolutely smurfing. And maybe it turned out that Renekton was just a little bit broken and people were giving it to Impact a little too often. People were starting to say, people were really starting to skyrocket EG up the rankings. Maybe they're the second best team. Maybe they're the first best team. But really, after we saw the whole tournament, I think they are the 4th best team. You know, yes, they made it to the semifinals, but 100 Thieves took Cloud9 to Game 5. Cloud9 ended up taking Team Liquid to Game 5, and Team Liquid just dismantled Evil Geniuses 3-0 in 3, pretty convincing games. So, yes, I do think Evil Genius is good. I'm definitely going to be moving them up, but some people I think were moving up a little bit too high, a little bit too fast. So I think maybe after week 1, they were just a tad bit overrated, even though, they were the only undefeated team. They were looking good. They were looking great. Maybe it's hard to rate them right now. We'll see how kind of things shake out over the course of the season. At number 8, millions is a lot of money. And what do I mean by this? I'm talking about SwordArt and Perkz. So these are the two guys that got the most money spent on them this offseason. SwordArt, a couple $1 million on his contract. Perkz, a couple million on his, with a couple million on the buyout. Also losing Licorice. These two teams are giving up a lot for these two players. And yes, Cloud9, things have been working out pretty well for them so far. They made it to the finals. They took Team Liquid to Game 5. Things are looking great for them. But has Perkz really been worth that many millions of dollars, multiple millions of dollars, when you can get a really good player for like 5, 6, 7, 800,000? I don't know. It's really hard in a team game like League of Legends, especially where the game is right now, where it's so focused on team play and stuff, for a player to be worth multiple millions of dollars. And then obviously TSM with SwordArt, that hasn't really worked out great so far. I mean, we'll see as the course of the season goes on. But man, it's kind of tough to justify spending this many millions on some of these players when you know the price of the other players. It's hard to be that much better than other people. And yes, Perkz has shown in the past he can be one of the best mid laners really in the world. And if he does that, he's probably worth that money. But right now, when he's just kind of looking like a good North American mid laner, even a great North American mid laner, I don't know. It's kind of hard to justify these multiple millions of dollars that some teams spent this offseason. And depending on how the season plays out, it might affect how much money these teams are willing to spend going forward. So yeah, we'll see. And then also Cloud9, having to give up all that money and losing Licorice as well. Fudge coming in, that could come back to haunt them a little bit as well. So these teams paid a lot, they gave up a lot. Are they regretting that investment a little bit? I don't know. That's what I'm thinking, but we'll see. Obviously, it's a long season. This is just a preseason. At number 9, lock-in was a great idea. I know a lot of people were talking about before, do you think this is going to be a meme tournament? Do you think teams are even going to try hard? We've had some events in the past, like All-Stars, where sometimes people try and it's insane, it's fun, and when people don't try, it's not very fun. And the Kespa Cup and the other preseason tournaments and stuff, sometimes the teams try their hardest and deliver banger series, but sometimes they just take it as a preseason tournament. They play subs, they don't really try, they play crazy picks, and that just kind of makes it boring and a little bit of a waste of time. But this lock-in, pretty much every team in the tournament went their absolute hardest. I mean, we got absolute banger series. It would have been so easy for Cloud9 to roll over when they were down 2-0 against 100 Thieves. Preseason tournament, go next. Who cares? Let's go home and just be done with this. They came back and won. Same thing in the finals. They were down 2-0 to Team Liquid after they just got smashed 2 games. They could have been tilted out of their minds. They could have gave up and went home. But they fought back. And again, to be able to see a best of 5 between Cloud9 and Team Liquid this early on in the season is great. Also, a big thing for me is that this shortens the spring split. We're getting a 6-week spring split for North America where we have 3 games for every single team every single week. That's, the LEC Super Week with every team playing 3 games. We're getting a Super Week of the LCS every single week. That is awesome, okay? Because spring split usually sucks. It's usually so boring, and it doesn't matter at all. And condensing that down and giving us a lock-in tournament, such a great idea. It was an absolute smash hit success. Whoever's idea this was, props to them. I think this is a huge win for the LCS, for the fans, for the teams, players, everybody involved. And finally, at number 10, LEC should follow suit. They are now the only major region in the world without a preseason tournament. And after seeing the success that the LCS has had, and I think that we'll continue to see with this format going forward, I think the regular season of the LCS is going to be so much fun now. Also, we're going to be able to look back at how the lock-in tournament went compared to the end of the season rankings and how the teams were able to progress throughout the course of the season. I think this is an absolute smash hit, and I was honestly surprised that when the LCS announced this that the LEC didn't announce it as well, because usually they kind of do things somewhat in line together. The LEC decided against it. I bet they're probably regretting that a tiny little bit right now because, yes, the LEC Super Week was a ton of fun, and yes, it's cool for the LEC fans that they've already had a couple of real weeks already, but we got to see some absolute banger series that were a ton of fun, and honestly, I think that's better than the regular season that the LEC has had so far. So usually the LECs are always a step ahead in terms of innovation, in terms of broadcast, and just having an overall better product. But so far in 2021, I think the LCS is winning a little bit, and I think the LEC is going to take notes. And it's probably, I would not be shocked at all if the LEC, takes this idea for themselves and has their version of the lock-in tournament in 2022. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. These were my 10 biggest takeaways from the LCS lock-in tournament. I mean, there's so many things we could have went. There's so many directions. There were so many big takeaways. These were just the first 10 that came to the top of my mind. I want to get them out to you guys. Definitely drop a like if you enjoyed this video. It helps me out so much with the YouTube algorithm, and I would appreciate it greatly. Leave a comment down below. What are your biggest takeaways? What are you guys thinking after this tournament? Again, there was so much to watch. I'd love to hear what you guys think I missed, what you agree with me on, what you disagree with me on. Any of that would be awesome. Subscribe, stay updated on my latest content. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.